Recording. All right, guys. Now that you have your project started, let's get kind of familiar with the workspace. So these windows are what is considered our workspace. You notice that there's a lot of little different boxes and each one has their own function. For right now, I'm going to close the learning box because it's not really something that we're going to need for a long time. So anytime you want to close part of your window, and I don't really suggest ever doing it, so be careful. You go to these three lines and you tell it to close the panel. And it will automatically move the rest of your panels over. If you ever accidentally close a panel, you can get it back by going up here to the windows and going to workspaces and opening up whatever it is that you need to open up that you've lost. But try not to do it because these are kind of our main ones, and sometimes closing one of them does result in like the loss of the work that you are working on. So let's kind of just start at the top. So this source box right here, is going to show us a lot of preferences for our clips when we get them in. It will allow us to focus in on a specific clip if we're doing some really advanced editing techniques, which we might do closer to the middle of the semester. We're going to get our options popping up here in this box. The program right here is to play through all of our timeline. This is where we can preview how things look. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner is where all of our files will show up. So anything that we import to use in our video, all of our pictures, all of our video clips, all of our sound clips, any effects and transitions we make in After Effects later on, everything will show up here. This next little tiny window is all of our tools, our select tool, our track select forward tool, our ripple edit tool, our razor tool for cutting and splitting, our slip tool, the pen tool, the hand tool, and the text tool. We're only going to use a couple of these tools at the beginning, mainly your razor tool and your type tool. Some of these other tools will not come into play until later in the semester when we're more comfortable with our skills. This is the timeline. This is where all the channels are going to show up once we start importing our media. So just like we had that timeline in other editors like Clipchamp and iMovie, this is where all of our media will show up, and we'll put it in order that we want it to play in our video. And this last little bar over here is our sound level bar. So you notice that you have little numbers right here. These are the decibels. And as things start to play with sound, you'll see it jumping around. And the goal is to kind of try and keep things in the middle right here when we have our middle volume up, so that way everything is equalized. There are other parts to the workspace, as up here you'll notice there's a line of options. So learning is up there, so if you ever want to go back into learning, you can edit the workspace, you can go back into it. There is also options for assembly, which is putting things together, editing, which will be specific things we'll talk about later as far as like adjusting colors or durations of different clips. The color saturation of the entire thing, the effects, so transitions and green screen effects, audio, graphics, which will be like preloaded animations that Adobe Premiere has. We'll use these especially when we get to the news unit, and libraries, which we really won't utilize for this course. So this is our basic setup. This is what's going to start up every single time that you start up Premiere. So now that we kind of know what some things are, let's see it in action in the next tutorial.